How's everybody doing today? Excited, I mean, obviously home openers, really exciting. The excitement on campus, going to be a sold-out stadium, rocking environment. Would love playing at home, and to do it against the top 15 team. Big conference game. Always the first conference game of the year is always such a huge game, and really can catapult you into a great year. Kind of put you behind the 8 ball a little bit, where you got to play catch up the rest of the year. So it's a big game for us. Obviously against a really tough opponent. So we got to make a lot of improvements off of last week. I obviously want to see a big jump in guys, not so much maybe the older guys. Guys, we talk about our older guys, they played well. Why did they play well? You can really look at them. Why did they play well? What did they do positive? What did they do that wasn't as great? Where were their mistakes? But a lot of the older guys, they identify those things anyway. They're going to tell you what their mistakes were, and things that they did well and things they did poorly. Where we got to make a huge improvement is the guys that haven't played a whole lot. Where this was a lot of guys' first opportunity to be out there in a game, or taking a lot of meaningful snaps, where they get to watch themselves and see how different games are than practice. And that's where you want to see guys really take huge steps forward, with not just in their preparation, but also in their performance on Saturday. So that's going to be a pretty big deal for us. So, but we're fired up. We're excited. It should be an exciting week on campus with everything going on.
Questions? We have Mike here.
Would you rather be in your position of having played a game and gotten the experience, or rather be LSU and be a little more of an unknown? Is there an advantage there, or is it overblown?
Yeah, I don't know that there's an advantage. I don't know that there's a disadvantage. I mean, you could obviously, the advantage for us, our guys, we played in a very tough road environment against to me, what is an in-state rival? I mean, and I think everybody in this room appreciates that more than maybe on a national scene of what we were going into and what we were facing in that environment on Saturday night, last Saturday night. So for our younger guys, it's great. Even for our older guys to get a game under their belt, I think that's fantastic too. But they also have the advantage. They're fresh. Didn't have to play last week, so their players are all much fresher, ready to go. They have a new defensive staff pretty much, and you don't get to see what they're doing on defense. All their new players, you don't see where new guys are going to be. They have a bunch of new starters, how they're going to utilize those players. I think there's probably advantages on both sides and disadvantages on both sides, and I don't know that one really outweighs the other.
Kind of jumping off that question, so how you prepare this week, not seeing a fresh LSU team? I mean, how do y'all go about doing that?
Well, I mean, you're looking at all kinds of different things. I mean, you're going through last year's film to watch personnel. You're going through Alabama stuff to look at more scheme of where they came from. You can peek at USC stuff with Ed as the D-line coach. You're not real sure what are they going to draw from schematically, and then personnel. You're watching just the players play, but you don't know how they're going to do something in a different scheme. So on that aspect of us, on the offensive side of the ball, really hard to prepare for, because so most of our focus has to be on ourselves and our own execution, and just do what we do well.
Last year, LSU was kind of a turning point for the season. What can this game do upcoming as a kind of the rest of the season? How can it impact the rest of the season, I guess?
Well, I think what has been different. It's been it's the conference opener for the second straight year, and I think you win this game. We're 1-0 in the West, puts you in first place in the West. Put you in two games ahead of LSU right there, 2 weeks into the season. So I think for a confidence thing for the team, it's huge. And I think always that way. I've always believed if you win your first conference game, it's a huge boost for you moving into the rest of the season, because you're off to that hot start. You don't want to start having to climb uphill the whole rest of the year after 1 week in conference play. So I think that's really what it's all about for us. We get this win. It puts you in first place in the SEC West, and that's a fun place to play from.
Coach, obviously the way the game plays out dictates a lot of your rotations and stuff with the opener. Let's talk about how you know, the rotation, the defensive line. You guys only use 4 D tackle and the running back, and
Well, I think they were using a lot of different personnel. Like they were showing some things they hadn't shown in the past, and did a lot of different things. So with us learning, with the tweaks we've made on defense, and then all doing things that we hadn't really seen on film before for us to go prepare for. I think we're a little bit more conservative within our rotation on the defensive line, and I think a lot of it, how the game dictated it. Where all of a sudden we run 4 offensive plays in the first quarter and we're down. And we have 2 special teams turnovers in the first quarter. Those type of things, you probably get a little bit more conservative in making sure you're putting guys in position where we had to win the game, and we didn't get to rotate maybe as freely as we would want to if, I'm not even saying if the score is different, if you're executing. We talk about that guy. A lot of guys wanted to touch the ball on offense in the first quarter. There were only 4 plays for that to happen, so it kind of really limited opportunities for players.
After watching or looking at the film, defensively, what were the issues in the secondary that you saw?
Well, a bunch of it. They had a lot of run-pass conflict plays, where they were kind of run and pass plays, and they were releasing linemen downfield, and our backers were stepping up to stop the run, and then they'd pull the ball down and go throw it over their head. That was a lot of the stuff that we saw in the secondary. That the majority of their big plays were those situations where we should have a backer underneath it, and we didn't.
Brandon Holloway obviously had some really good moments against Southern Miss. Is he a guy that is kind of, I don't want to say stuck, but has a role, but could he ever be kind of a feature type back, or do you think he's used well as he is right now?
Well, I'm sure he could be, definitely be a feature back. I think with us, within our rotation of it, he kind of comes in with more flash because he's different than the other backs, and comes in with this burst of speed that other guys don't really bring to the table. But I think if we needed to rely on him, he'd go run the ball. He runs physical. He's not the biggest guy, but he plays a lot more physical than he is, and so that I don't think he'd have a problem adjusting to that role.
3 offensive linemen debuted against Southern Miss. What was your reaction after watching the tape and how they played?
The one, Jamal Claiborne, I thought did an excellent job of managing the game from the center position. You're on the road, having to deal with crowd noise, having to make all the calls in that tough environment, in an environment like that. Your first start wasn't easy, and I thought he handled the situation very well. Rufus Warren, as an older player, Devin Despers, I think he started a game before for us. He started the A&M game, I think, last year for us. So, he's been in some situations. I thought those guys all played pretty well. They had a little bit more experience. I was really pleased, though, with how Jamal handled the, maybe the moment, more than overall performance. I thought we played solid up front. I don't know that we were great. I don't know that we were poor. I think we played solid on the offensive line, and there's a lot that we can grow and improve off of it. But I think for 3 new starters, I think they handled the situation fairly well.
I know you've had it in years past where the second game of the year has been the SEC opener. Do you like having week 2 the SEC opener, or would you rather have it a couple weeks down the road, get some more non-conference games?
You got to play them at some point, but I think from year to year, you'd love to, maybe this year. I think we have a younger team. You'd love to get more games where guys are getting rotations, but we don't control any of that stuff. It is how it plays out. So I guess if we win on Saturday night, it'd be a great time to play him. If we don't, maybe it would have been a bad time to play him. I don't know that there's a huge advantage or disadvantage either way with any of that stuff.
What's it like preparing for a team that has a back like Fournette, who's obviously kind of an NFL type guy and can really do some different things?
Well, one is it's somewhat hard to prepare for because you don't have any. It's like imitating guys at practice. You don't have a guy like him. So if I don't have a guy like him, it's hard for us to see the actual speed and size and physicality that he plays with. So you just got to go get ready. And I mean, one of the things, making sure you get a lot of guys the ball. Don't assume that the first guy is going to go make the tackle. And you want to try to contain him as much as possible and not let him get into the wide open field where he's just so dangerous because of his size and his speed.
With the way the LSU game kind of played out down the stretch, what did you kind of learn about, you and the team kind of learn about finishing out games?
Well, I mean, I learned an awful lot. For me as a coach, I don't know that I'd put us in the best situation there in the fourth quarter. There a couple things I could have done maybe. I know we had a drive in the red zone late. We had I had our backups in, and really could have used one more score at that situation. We ended up giving up a quick touchdown against our backups, and then I left our backups in, another series, when in that situation I really shouldn't have done it, especially on the road in that environment, with as talented and explosive as a team as LSU. I mean, they got 5-star players. They probably got a bunch of 5-star players sitting on the bench. They don't even get in the game, and when you have that much talent on the team, we've got to make sure we finish the game. For our guys, I thought our guys competed for the entire 60 minutes. I thought a lot of it was much more, me more than our players that I put us in a poor situation.
A lot was made in the off-season about losing Brandon Hill and Malcolm Johnson at the tight end position in your first game. You get two touchdowns from your tight end. Just talk about that group.
They were probably cussing me under their breath watching the game. Like, my first game, I didn't get a touchdown. Waiting for my text from Brandon and Malcolm after the game. But, those guys, I thought they did a really good job. Gus is a guy that we always, I mean, he's an older guy. He's been in the program, paid his dues. He's really developed into, what we expect out of our program as a guy that's ready to come perform at, his junior year now, ready to really step on the field and be the guy. But Justin, I'm really happy for what he did. He came in, he's obviously played in a great high school program at Hoover and played in a lot of big games. So I don't think the moment was too big for him. And I think he came in, we had a meeting in the summer, and I talked to him and he said, hey coach, I'm getting bigger, even since I've been here. I've talked to some of the guys on the team. Any thoughts about tight end? I said, well, I was going to talk to you about it because I think your body type, how you're growing, fits into what we look for at that position some. And, he came to me and said, coach, that's something I'd love to do. And I said, well, if you're going to do it, there's great opportunities there. Go attack it. Go do it. And he really did, right from day one of training camp, really embraced kind of a mindset of, I'm getting ready to go play. And had that opportunity and took full advantage of it. I laughed. His first 3 plays, he had a 3rd down conversion and a touchdown catch in his first 3 college plays. He must have been thinking this college stuff's pretty easy. But he, when he prepared the right way, I think for that, when he had his opportunity, obviously took most of it on Saturday.
I think James started his first game. What was your reaction? He made some good plays, but then also picked up the personal foul.
Yeah, I think, what I'm pleased with is I really think that's the best I've ever seen him play, including practice. I really was pleased with a lot of the way he played. I thought he ran the ball well. I thought he did a lot. There's a lot that he can take and grow off of. Obviously we need him to play at a much higher level even than that. But I think when he gets to watch himself on tape, he can see, hey, I can not only this is how I need to play with the effort I need to play with, but I can also do things a lot better. So hopefully now that's going to be a huge stepping stone for him moving forward. And then Nick's an extremely, if you know Nick, he's so emotional that he gets carried away with some stuff sometimes. And he's just got to learn to. I don't want him to lose his emotion because, that's who he is, but he's got to learn to filter it the right way. Because he had the personal foul. He probably could have had another one, I think, during the course of the game. On the interception, he got away with kind of a block in the back that he didn't need to make that, would have been another 15-yard penalty, which would have been pretty disappointing. But I think he's got to really learn how to channel his emotions into positive playmaking things instead of some silly stuff at times on the field.
How much was Dak limited schematically against Southern Miss for running the ball?
I don't know, limits. Yeah, I didn't call a lot of quarterback runs or design quarterback runs. You know, there were some option plays where he had the option to pull it, and you know, I think we called one quarterback run the whole night, or maybe two. I think we called two quarterback runs the whole night. One he scored on, and then one he did. Most of the other things were all like option reads, where if he kept the ball, he kept the ball. You know, I just by plan. I don't know, by plan, not by plan. Within how the game was going, we had some in the game plan. We just didn't really get to them. I thought we were running the ball decent at times, throwing the ball. You know, and what it was, we just, you know, again, we didn't have lots of opportunities on the offensive side of the ball, and just, you know, I mean, that was probably one of the fewest number of plays we've run in a long time in a game. So, you know, just statistically speaking, his carries would go down, even though he did have a couple of big runs for us during the course of the game.
Is that kind of by design, trying to protect him, or how do you balance him running and then trying to protect him with hits he doesn't need to take?
Well, I don't. You know, one of the things I think that helps is he's an older guy. You know, a lot of times some younger guys, you want to get him in, let him go run and get hit, you know, and kind of like shake the cobwebs out with the quarterbacks. You know, as an older guy, you don't need to do that anymore. You know, he can come out throwing and he's fine. He's going to be ready for the game. You know, he's not coming in overhyped for the game or too much. He's ready to go play. So, with that experience, I think that maybe that takes some of it off, but. You know, it's whatever the defense has given us, we're going to take. You know, I mean, if they want him to run the ball, they're going to make him run the ball, and he's going to run it. And I'm sure he'll do a great job when he does. And you know, if they don't take his runs away, then you know, other guys will run the football for us. And you know, they kind of led last week to a little bit more other guys getting carries than him.
Is everything still on track for Tevez to play on Saturday?
You know, according to our trainers, it is. You know, they said, our plan was that they thought he could play if he had to play on Saturday going into the game. You know, we kind of made a decision before then that we didn't want him to play in that game, you know, because I want him to get healthy so he can perform at the level we need to, and we're certainly, they're optimistic that he'll be healthy this week. So, you know, but with that stuff, it's, you know, he should be cleared right now. He's just got a little extra swelling. They want to make sure he's 100% ready to go before we put him on the field in his knee. So hopefully that he heals up the right way this week and he's ready to play.
You think this is a week that Aries and Octavian factor into the game plan a little more than they did last week?
I mean, they were in the game plan last week, just, you know, didn't get many plays, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, you know, how you envision games and how they turn out are often very, very different. And, you know, so, you know, how we envision things didn't maybe turn out exactly the way I thought it would last week, you know, with all the turnovers early in the game. And so, you know, 3 turnovers in the first quarter, it's not really what you envisioned coming into game one. So that kind of skewed our game plan in a different direction, maybe than how we would have wanted to run. But I mean, our guys, you know, we adapt, and you have to find a way to win. We were able to do that.
Great.
Good.
Thank you.